Hi everyone and welcome back to Chrono Productions, where we can't think of an intro to save our lives, but we're here. So in the last video I told you guys I was going to start working on Marvel Champions content, which I'm really excited about. But before we get into any of the deck techs and all the specifics of the game, I thought it'd be a good idea to make a short video just to explain what the game is, how it's generally played, and what you could expect from the deck tech videos, so that when I'm talking about it, no one is clueless. So if you watch this video, you should be able to understand relatively well. The way the game works, as I mentioned in the last video, is that you have a villain deck that plays itself. There's no one playing the villain deck. It's just automated. And you can play as a solo hero, or you can play with a group of other people. But your goal as a hero or team of heroes is to defeat the villain, deal enough damage to wipe out their hit points before they accomplish their goal. They've done a really good job so far in making each deck feel unique. And there are ways, even when you're building your deck, to make it feel even more unique, but we'll get to that in a minute. Take, for instance, I was going to play Spider-Man. I would start with the cards that are assigned to Spider-Man. He has his own... every hero has 15 cards that are assigned to them specifically. And when you build a deck for that hero, you must include those 15 cards. It's one of the rules of the game. The identity cards, as they're called, that go with the hero are mandatory to include in your deck. Once you've got your 15 cards, once you've picked your hero, then you have to pick an aspect. And an aspect is the way you're going to play the game, basically. The four aspects are aggression, justice, protection, and leadership. Some of them are fairly obvious, but some of them will go into greater detail. Well, we'll go into greater detail on all of them, but... So, aggression. You can tell it's an aggression card because the border is red. Aggression's job, as you might imagine, is the most basic job in all of gaming, is to do the damage. Your job is to be the one who's... this would be a DPS in a raid, or the aggro deck in like something like Magic the Gathering. Your job is to go out there and just deal as much damage as you possibly can, and everyone else is buying you the time you need in order to do that, basically. Protection is the next one. Protection is denoted by the color green, and your job is to protect your other allies. So protection can be a good true solo deck, but it really shines with at least one other person. Let's say I'm playing Spider-Man Aggression. If I have a Hulk protection deck looking after me, I can just focus on dealing damage. I don't even have to worry about whether I'm going to die or not, because I know that this big green dude over here has my back. Justice is the next one. Justice is denoted by the color yellow, and is probably my absolute favorite aspect to play. I think a lot of Justice cards are really cool. I think they have some of the more unique play styles. The villain, in addition to attacking, is also scheming, and what that is there's cards in the villain decks called schemes, and there's always a main scheme, and this main scheme gains threat as the game goes on, and gains threat when the villain schemes. It's an action that happens on the villain's turn. The more the villain activates, the faster the scheme progresses, but it does progress every turn, no matter what. There's no getting around that. Schemes progress by gaining threat counters. It just goes, like, oftentimes it'll be like, it'll go up by 2 per turn. So you get 2 threat counters, plus if the villain activates a scheme, that it'll get more counters. The job of a Justice deck is to remove those threat counters through thwarting, is what it's called. You thwart the villain's scheme. Makes sense, right? So your whole job is to remove those counters and stall out the villain's plans to buy time for your teammates to finish the game, basically. It's such a fun aspect to play. It's probably my personal favorite. If not, it's the next one. The last one is called Leadership, and Leadership is denoted by sort of a light blue color on the card. You'll see them over here in the video. So Leadership is an interesting way. It's probably the most unique role in the game, the most unique aspect in the game. It mostly revolves around summoning allies. An ally is a card that stays on the field when you play it, and it it has its own actions every turn, just like your hero does. But it's on a limited timetable. My personal favorite is Spider-Man. That's probably going to be the first deck tech I do, is my Spider-Man leadership deck, because I know that War Machine is designed as a leadership deck, and I really want to see what that's going to feel like. There are also basic cards that can go in any deck. They are denoted by the color gray. You usually have a few basic cards in every deck, just to keep the deck balanced and give you some more resources. Each hero has 4 numbers that are important to it. It has an attack number. That's how much damage it does to the villain when your hero uses a basic attack. In order to use a basic attack, if you've played any card game before, it works the exact same way. You exhaust your hero, or tap your hero, as most people know it as, to attack the villain, and then you just do however much damage your attack is. Obviously, there are ways to boost your attack so you do more. There's cards that do damage. There's lots of ways to do damage in the game, but every hero has an attack number, a thwart number, which is what I was talking about before. It's the same principle. Tap your hero, instead of dealing damage, you remove threat counters from the scheme. They have a defend number, or defense number, which is what protection really rolls off of, and a recovery number, which is on their alter ego side. So every hero has a hero side and an alter ego side, and the alter ego side has a recovery number. In that case, you tap your hero to recover your own hit points. So it's a good way to keep the game going if you are struggling and starting to get low. So the cool thing about Marvel Champions, and probably the thing that makes it most unique and gives it its most replayability, is the fact that you can pick any hero you want and any aspect you want. You can combine any hero with any aspect. Yes, there's always optimal ways to do this, but as a general rule, you can combine any hero with any aspect and make the deck work if you know what you're doing. And that's really, really cool. I think that's probably my favorite part about the game. That's where the deck building really comes in. That's what we're going to be going over in the videos. So we'll talk a lot about that going forward. Every card in Marvel Champions has a cost to it, and the cost is paid usually by discarding other cards from your hand. So if a card costs 2, you would discard 2 cards from your hand in order to play that card. There are ways to manipulate that. There's things that exhaust themselves to give you resources. There's cards that give you 2 resources for 1 card. There's some that give you 3 resources from 1 card, which is insane. But the basic idea is that you discard a number of cards equal to the cost of the card you want to play. And there are 4 types of cards that you can play. Allies stay on the field for as long as they can survive. Upgrades and supports stay on the field until it says to remove them by some other effect. And events are one-off cards that you play, get some use out of, and then they go away. The coolest thing about the game is being able to play any hero you want the way you want to play it. And that's really what makes deck building in this game so much fun, is the ability to say, hey, I want to combine these 2 play styles, because if the hero has a play style and the aspect has a play style, and finding the best way to merge those 2 is what makes deck building so fun. It's what's make the game so fun, and it's honestly the way you are good at the game. Like, that's really what it comes down to. Yes, there are some execution things, playing the right cards at the right times, but really, if you build a deck well enough, you should be able to win most of the time. In general, if you master the concept of matching the hero you want to play with the aspect you want to play, that's what makes you good at this game. And that's what we're going to talk about in our deck techs, is the hero, the aspect that I play with it, and why, and go through each card and talk about that. The next video is going to be a little later in the day. I have to record it when I get home from work, because I am picking up the new expansion that comes out next Friday, which is the Mad Titan Shadow. Yes, that Mad Titan. Even though he was spoiled on the core set, we are finally going to get to play against Thanos, and I am so excited. The 2 hero decks that come with that box are Spectrum, and Adam Warlock, and we'll go over each of those in detail in separate videos, but they'll both get uploaded at the same time, pretty close. That's going to be the next video I'm really excited about. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am so excited to get into this. I love this game. I hope after watching me be excited about it, you guys will be excited about it too. Maybe pick it up, play it for yourselves. In the meantime, see ya!